Welcome to Wine Soundtrack USA. Listen to the passion with which producers narrate their winery and their world in 30 answers. Discover their stories, personalities, and passions.
Hello, friends and listeners of Wine Soundtrack. This is Allison Levine, and today I am with Eric Johnson, the Director of Viticulture and Winemaking of Talley Vineyards in San Luis Obispo. Eric, welcome to Wine Soundtrack, and tell us a little bit about Talley.
Thank you for having me. Talley Vineyards is a vineyard winery on the SLO Coast, California, based out of Arroyo Grande Valley. We specialize in Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, but we dip into Syrah, Grenache, Sauvignon Blanc, Gruner Veltliner. And it's a lot of fun stuff to do.
Very cool. Any other weird wines? Is Gruner the weirdest?
Gruner would be the most obscure. I mean, we'll do some weird like orange wines, and we've dabbled in the elusive pet nat, but that's as weird as we get, I guess.
How many cases do you produce?
We produce about 24,000 a year. It's pretty consistent, yeah.
And is it all estate fruit? And how many acres do you own?
Yeah, so everything at Talley, estate.
Wow.
Yep, pretty rad. We have right now about 125 acres. Yeah, so enough to, make wine.
And not purchasing any fruit?
We do not purchase any fruit for Talley Vineyards, nope.
Wow.
Yeah.
And where can people find your wines? Are they available in markets across the U.S. or in specific markets or just direct to consumer?
Yeah, we're always available to direct-to-consumer. We have a glorious wine club, but we are available in many, many markets, a lot of wine shops, restaurants, some cool grocery stores and stuff like that. So yeah, we're out there.
Okay, cool. We got the basic stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
So now about you. I'm curious, what is your first memory relevant to wine? How far back do we go? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in a town in the Central Valley called Los Banos, which is a small farming town. Used to be back in the day more dairy, but I grew up on a farm, apricots mostly. And wine, my first memory of wine is cold bottles of Carlo Rossi, Chablis. That's not Chablis, obviously.
Is this your college drinking, or is this high school drinking?
This is my mother and father. They would have the jugs in the fridge, and now with the knowledge I have with my history of winemaking, I think those wines were probably going bad for how long they left them in the fridge, and they were just continuously drinking them for weeks on end. It seems like some stomach issues, personally, but yeah.
But they never reported that. So.
No, they rolled with it. Yeah, and then when getting to high school, I was buddies with a lot of Basque kids. Like, there's a lot of Basque, French and Spanish Basque kids, and if you know Basque people, they drink a lot of red wine, and so that involved us stealing a lot of red wine and drinking it, and doing what kids do when you drink a lot of red wine in high school.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So when you look back now at your career and move past the Carlo Rossi and whatever wines you could steal, what would you say is one of those aha moment wines you had, and what was it and when was it?
That's funny because this is it doesn't represent what I truly dig as wines right now. Mm-hmm. But it was a 05 Sinequinon. It was a Syrah. I can't remember if that was one of the serial killers or not. Time of his life, vintages. But it was a wine I had, and it was the first wine that I really understood texture. Like, it blew my mind away. I don't know if I should. I can't cuss on this, right? Okay.
Yes, you can.
Oh, fuck yeah, cool. So, no, it did. It blew my mind. I'd never had anything with that sort of texture.
Uh-huh.
And it's just, yeah, that wine I always think about. There are some Chablis, that have blown my mind, and that really kind of got me into loving great Chardonnay. Mm-hmm. But it was that goddamn Sinequinon, which obviously I can't afford it now, but here and there.
Hey, but it taught you texture. So I'm curious, if we were to come to your home now, what would we find? What do you drink? What is at home? Is it wines you make? Is it wines your friends make? Wines from around the world? Particular grapes? And now that you've moved on and you love texture.
Yeah. What I dig. So yes, I drink a lot of wine. I drink a lot of beer too. I drink a lot of cocktails. guess
you're an equal opportunist.
Absolutely, I support all everybody in the alcohol industry. So I do love Chris White's. Like I do love Chablis. Like I love Chablis. I love Gamay. I'm a hardcore Gamay guy. Cru Beaujolais. I obviously am Pinot. I like Northern Rhone. I love Northern Rhone. Cornos, Côte Rôtie, and champagne. My wife and I are big champagne peeps. But then, my friends. I mean, I have a lot of friends. Most of my best friends are winemakers. Elugar, who's here, I drink a lot of his wines. I drink a lot of, say Thomas Fogarty, who's here too. Just a lot of buddies. And Presqu'île, I end up with a lot of Presqu'île wine. So, I honestly try not to drink our wines. It just depends on how much money I have. Sometimes, when you're scrubbing, you gotta just drink your own sauce. But I try not to drink it because I'd rather not just be so familiar with it that I think all my wines are great, which it's just, what I mean.
But all your wines are great.
Well, I know, but I don't want to be saying that. I don't want to put that out there and look arrogant. I'm trying to just look cool.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Is there a particular bottle you opened up recently from your cellar, or maybe at a restaurant that just kind of blew you away, or maybe it's one of your own?
It's funny because there's a recent one. World of Pinot Noir. We do this like tech seminar beforehand, which is just winemakers, and this woman brought a 1962 Grand Cru. St. Julien Medoc, 1962, and the fucking nose was like a 10-year-old cab, Merlot, right, Merlot, and you're like, what? Man, this is from 1962, and then you drink it, and it translated perfectly from nose to palate, and it blew my mind. I was like, what the hell? And this is just a couple days ago. It was just like, what the fuck is this? This is wild, but there's reasons why it was in very good condition, which I don't need to dive into that, but I would say that one. I've been thinking about that wine every day.
Well, a 1962 that you're drinking in 2024 that drinks like it's 10 years old, probably going to leave a lingering memory.
Yeah, right? Yeah, you get it. You get it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you were saying, okay, obviously you're now talking about a Merlot you just had. You said that you work with a bunch of different varieties, mostly Pinot and Chard, but you mentioned a few others that you do. I'm curious if you think there's a such thing as a perfect variety.
No way. No, because it just depends on how you're feeling, right? I mean, there's nothing I want to drink every day. I mean, even if they're like, oh, you can have DRC every day. I mean, yeah, I'd probably take them up on it, but I'd get sick of it. I mean, it just depends on what you want to do. I had eras in my life where I just wanted to drink Jura all the time, or Bois. Like, I mean, it's just, and now it's like I still love that stuff, but you go through these phases of what you're digging and kind of the style of your life, and there's no perfect no.
So do you there are people that you'll talk to, I don't know as a winemaker if you're aspiring to some level of perfection. I don't know what that's defined as, or if you aspire to something, but a lot of people will look at wines for what critics say to them about them. And I'm curious what your opinion is on wine critics and scores and how they define the level of perfection of a wine. I told you there'd be some thought-provoking questions.
No, for sure. I think about this all the time. No, I mean, listen, I understand why you need to have some sort of rating system for wines, and it's really good for the consumer to see. But it's and there's a lot of publications, obviously, but I don't know. I have a problem with certain raters that they say rate a classic Burgundy and whatever, right? And like, oh, this is 98 points, it's awesome. And then they rate something that's like 18% alcohol, and they're like, this is 99. It's the same. They're the same. And I just don't. I don't know. I just think there's. I mean, it's just the wine industry. There's so much BS in the wine industry. It has its place, and it's not going away. And some are better than others. I mean, sure. Some, they're not great at all. But some I respect, and I actually, because I've always, I have this idea, which I need some funding for it, but it's just reviewing wines that people are rating really high and just seeing, be like, are these good? Because I've been screwed so much, but it's like, oh, this thing is like ethereal and so amazing, 100 points, da-da-da. You spend some coin on it and you're like, this is not
ethereal.
It's not ethereal. This is brooding and I'm blacked out now, and so it's, yeah, I have positives and negatives.
I get that.
Yeah.
So getting down to you as a wine consumer, and you were talking about how you've had phases. You love Jura and Arbois, and then you like Côte Rôtie, and you like a variety of wines. So I'm curious, as a consumer, red, white, or rosé?
I think if I had to choose for just to be stuck with it, say like I'm on an island.
Sure.
I have white wine.
White wine.
Yeah, I think so. I love white wine. I mean, I love it all. Like, you're really making this hard. But white wine, because I'm smart, I could have champagne, my little Blanc de Blanc, and I could have some Corton or something,
That's true.
So
Still or sparkling?
Oh man, I think I love champagne. Yeah, all right, I'll just do champagne.
And champagne versus just sparkling wine.
Yeah. If I can just get some Grand Cru, yes.
So you said you and your wife like to drink champagne. We know that champagne is versatile. You were being very thoughtful about on an island how you can get still and sparkling out of a white wine. We're gonna go back to that question later. But I'm curious, how do you approach pairing wine and food? Sparkling wine can go with pretty much anything, so you can take that through an entire meal. But do you think there are rules to follow? Are there guidelines you follow? Or do you just do a come what may and this is what I'm in the mood for?
I think kind of all of that, but it's more. I do have a rule with fat and acid. I think whether it's the food that has the fat or the wine has acid, or vice versa. They need to. They need to help each other out, right? They need to meld together. Back in the day when I had enough money where I could actually go to Michelin star restaurants.
I remember that.
Yeah. I went to a restaurant. I don't need to go into it, but it was the most perfect pairings I've ever had. Ever. Like, they were just seamless at all times. Yeah. So I really like good pairings.
Yeah. So finding harmony, but there aren't any particular rules other than fat and acid.
I guess so. Yeah, harmony.
So for somebody who hasn't tasted your wines, what do you think they're missing out on?
Unique spot, honestly, where our vineyards are located. There's not that many vineyards there. There's really essentially 3, and so it's going to have a unique flavor profile. That's for sure. And just to taste something that's different, honestly. Yeah.
And so if space aliens were to land on your property right now, which of your wines would you want to welcome them and say, welcome to Talley Vineyards?
Probably Rosemary Chardonnay. Yeah, I think it's fun. It's got some good acid, depending on their taste buds. I think they dig it. Yeah. So
you've been making wine for how many harvests now?
I've done 18 at Talley.
And 18 at Talley. Yeah. And you are the vineyard head of viticulture. Spent a lot of time in the vineyards, I'm assuming. I'm curious, in the years that you've been making wine and all the time you spend in the vineyard, we know that every vintage tells a different story, but how much variation do you see from year to year? Do you see more commonality? What have you seen over the last 18 years or even within the last 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, every vintage is very different, and they've been more kind of crazy to a certain extent, but not similar crazy, whether it's a giant crop, a small crop, hot as hell, raining. I mean, it's just all over the place. People used to say, like, California is so consistent with their harvest, like, oh, it's so easy, especially all my Oregon brethren, but it's not. It's so different. It's a roller coaster at all times. Yeah.
Do you find that more now, or that's always how it's been?
More now there's more extremes in weather, that's for sure. Yeah, definitely more now. So
are there any sort of signs or predictors you look for at some point that will determine what kind of harvest you're going to get?
You think you know, but that you don't, because a lot of, 2020 was actually a perfect year, set up great, obviously, then COVID and shit, but then you got all these heat waves, you got fires. I mean, shit you can't predict. Mm-hmm. So now it's all over the place.
And so you've been doing this now for 18 years. Do you have any good luck rituals that you do at the start of harvest for yourself or for you and your team?
No. No.
Very simple, no. Jump onto something else. Yeah. You said you grew up in a farming community. Mm-hmm. You've been making wine for a long time, but when you were a little boy, what did you want to be when you grew up? Did you always know this is what you wanted to do?
Oh, no. I didn't know anything whatsoever about wine or anything. No, I thought I wanted to be a doctor.
Oh.
Yeah, like a pediatrician. But I'm not that smart, so it's not going to work out.
Well, how long did that dream last?
Probably till high school, something like that. Yeah.
And at what point did you know that wine was your future?
College, freshman year of college. Yeah.
It was a class?
Yeah, I just kind of met some people, and then, it was a class, and I was like, oh, this is cool. It seems like a cool lifestyle. It looked quite lavish, and it's not as lavish as, today is, but yeah, no, that's when, yeah, for sure. Beginning of college, yeah.
And when you're not working, how do you like to spend your free time?
Oh, geez. I'm usually just with my family, honestly. I have a little 3-year-old daughter and my wife, and we kind of just cruise around and, I don't know, just live life, I guess. Yeah.
No free time for any other personal hobbies?
I have 0 hobbies besides wine, which is my life. Yeah, it's a little sad.
I won't judge, I promise. So, okay, you have a 3-year-old, which means that you probably don't have a lot of time for a romantic evening with your wife. But if you were planning a romantic evening, something to set it apart from any other night with her, what sort of wines get opened?
Oh, yeah. A little date night with my wife. I mean, it's probably starting with some champagne. My wife and myself love little Pure Peters, so we'll start with that. And then, transition to some sort of white Burgundy, whether, like a Chablis or, a Merceau, a nice Merceau, maybe a Merceau from the Fonte or something. And then transition to red, and that could be anywhere from, like a red Burgundy or Northern Rhone. My wife loves Northern, or Gamay, honestly, Cru Beaujolais. My wife and I love wine. She's been in the wine industry past life, and she's sommed before and stuff, so. Yeah,
wine plays a significant role in your relationship.
100%, yes. Yes. We actually met at the World of Pinot Noir.
Did you?
Yes. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we met in World of Pinot in 2012. Yeah. And been together ever since.
Was she somming?
No. She was a consumer, just tasting away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, look at that. Yeah. She came to your table, you poured her a little wine, and asked her out on a date.
Got her digits, and there you go. Yeah, exactly.
So, I'm curious on another subject. You wanted to be a doctor. You end up getting into wine. A totally different path. Was there a piece of advice someone gave you along the way that helped kind of guide you in what you want to do or how you want to live your life or work by? Is there something that kind of guided you that way, or some person?
Yeah, I guess a person, like my grandfather was a farmer, a hard worker, so I kind of always, think about him, and, you just got to do the work. People need to see you do the work and gain that respect for you. So I'd say him. And wine industry, I just had a lot of, people that, we'll say mentored me throughout.
Anything in particular stand out?
Person
or something that they taught you by example or by words?
Well, yeah. Most of these guys, which I don't want to mention them because they have big heads already. It was about tasting great wine. Okay. You got to taste great wine to make great wine, kind of a thing. And so just always kind of testing your palate and drinking new things and kind of staying active in that sort with your palate. Because how do you know what great wine is if you've never tasted it? You could get lucky, obviously. You could just get grapes from a great spot and be a really good winemaker, but it helps to drink great wine and kind of figure out, okay, how did they do this, and why is this a great wine? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you could offer advice to our listeners, to wine drinkers or people who want to explore wine, what kind of advice would you give? Drink great wine?
Just drink wine all the time. Always taste wine, and honestly think about what you're tasting at all times. great to verbalize that because it's good for your memory. But yes, just constantly just taste different wines. Don't get in a rut where you're just tasting the same wines. You never want to get that kind of palate.
No. So you've had an 18-year career with this winery. You still have a long career ahead of you. You look much younger than having 18 years. But
eye patches. Yeah, microneedles.
But I'm curious, when you look back at your career, what would you say is one of your proudest achievements to date?
I don't know. Proudest achievements? That's a good question. I don't know. I'm not proud of anything. I don't know. I mean, because again, like, scores are nice. Like, we've gotten some really good scores, but I don't know. I guess it's just if somebody, there was and I'm blanking on the guy right now. I was in New York, like, this was probably 8 years ago, and this Burgundian guy, oh my God, why am I blanking on his name right now? But he's Berg producer, famous guy, and he tasted some of the wine and he really liked it and came and talked to me about it, and that was rad. Yeah, Alan Gross, that's who it is.
See?
So anyways, yeah.
An achievement doesn't have to be something grandiose like we built the winery. It can be something being recognized.
Yeah, being recognized by a legend is pretty rad. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Vanna White tasted our wine here too once. That was cool.
Well, Vanna White tasted your wine. Well, let me ask you.
She liked it, so.
Well, let me ask you this question. We're sitting at a table, empty seat next to you. Yeah. Your wine's on the table. Who, from any walk of life, living or deceased, would you want to share with your wine? And considering that Vanna White has already tasted your wine, she cannot be the person you want to share it with.
Oh, jeez. Man. Oh, man, would I get sentimental? Maybe just my grandpa, I guess? Yeah, because famous people, I'm not, I don't know. I don't know if I want to be with a famous person. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Grandpa.
Yeah, do grandpa. Charlie Chaplin would be wild, but no, I think grandpa. Yeah.
Did he ever get to taste wines you made?
Yeah, he did. Totally.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was rad. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, complete this sentence for me. A table without wine is like?
A table without love, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, but what's on? Do we have beers and cocktails too, or just no wine, just no wine? Yeah. Yeah, wine's love. It's just such a special thing and constantly evolves. There's no bottle that's the same. Every year is different. There's nothing like it. So, yeah.
Well, speaking of that, do you think, you were talking about earlier about how there's been some big vintage variation, and we've all been thrown curveballs in nature in the last, handful of years. We know that climate change exists. You think we'll be drinking wine in 300 years, 500 years time?
Yeah, from different regions, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Because wine is love.
Wine is love. We will always figure out how to ferment things. Don't worry. Yeah.
Well, you've been great. This has been really easy, I hope. But now comes the fun, hard part where we have a little fun pairing wine with music. This is a chance to talk about some of the wines you make. Okay. And what kind of music. You can give me a genre. You can give me a specific song. You can give me a specific artist. You can be as generic as you want. It's up to you. But, tell us a little bit about your wine and why it conjures up this particular music. Okay. And so I want to start with your Rosemary Vineyard Pinot Noir, because I had the pleasure of drinking a little of that earlier.
Yep, Rosemary's. Okay, this is the hardest one because I'm really bad at remembering songs and stuff. But let's see. I should just look at my phone so I can get better. Honestly, I'd say that because it's a more serious wine. It probably needs maybe some cool classic jazz. Yeah. I would do classic jazz, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I know you also do Chardonnay. So do you do a Rosemary Vineyard Chardonnay?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah. It's so high tone. Maybe we need some bumping music. I don't know, some good house music. Yeah. don't know. I don't think that is quite our brand, but I just think its actual flavor profile is so zingy. I think it actually fits that more than anything of some cool, maybe some trance music.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Let's do that.
What about estate Pinot Noir? So it's going to not be a vineyard designate per se.
The first thing that popped in my head is so dumb.
Go with it. Come on.
Well, it's like it's a collaboration of all the vineyards. So I was thinking about all those celebrities that we are. What is it?
We Are the World.
We Are the World. Yeah. That's, even though I don't want to listen to that song, but it literally popped in my head because I think there's been a lot of articles about it recently. Just they didn't invite Madonna.
Okay.
I think it's Billy Joel's fault, honestly. But.
And what about your Gruner?
Ooh, Gruner. Yeah. Man, these are good. I was like, Tiesto? No. Man. Oh, jeez.
We can tell there is no pre-preparation on this question because I put you right on the spot.
I know, zero. Yeah. Gruner. Maybe some funk, actually. Yeah, maybe some funk. Maybe a little Earth, Wind, and Fire, actually. Something like that. A little subdued funk. You know?
Okay. I won't put any more pressure on you with this one, unless there's another wine that's just actually has a pairing in your mind. But I'm going to ease off on that. Yeah. So I have one more question, a little two-parter.
Yep.
The first part of the question is, what is one wine region in the world that's at the top of your bucket list to explore?
Northern Rhone. I have not been there. Actually, Champagne. I haven't been to Chablis. I've been to Burgundy a bunch of times. I've been to Bordeaux, but I've never been to Chablis. I've never been to Beaujolais and Northern Rhone. Like, I just really want to go. I've been to other places, Argentina and Chile and New Zealand and stuff like that, but I've never been to like the things I love the most. And
I'm like, you told me all the grapes that you seem to love.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. It makes zero sense. You're right.
Got to start planning your trip. And the second part of that question is, for people who want to come visit Talley Vineyards, how can they visit you? How can they find you? What can they experience with a visit?
Yeah, absolutely. Website, talleyvineyards.com. We're located outside of Arroyo Grande, which is really about 12 miles outside of San Luis Obispo. It's very easy. It's a very beautiful drive. We have a great wine club. You can buy our bottles online as well. Experience-wise, it's just really good service. It's all seated tastings, and I just think you'll have a great time. It's beautiful out there. You get to look over the Talley farms. You look over the vineyards.
Feel the sea breeze.
You would definitely feel some breeze. That's for sure. It's a little windy out there, but that's all good. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, Eric, I hope you had fun. I hope it wasn't too painful, but it's been fun chatting with you. And I think it's time to go taste a little Talley wine. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah. Hey, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It was fun, a little pressure, but I'm good. Yeah. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers, yeah.
Thanks for listening to a new episode of Wine Soundtrack USA. For details and updates, visit our website, winesoundtrack.com.